Hey YouTube, 3D Printed Life here with a hopefully quick update on the 3-up a tiny bit, but mostly everything else. I'm not even gonna know what I don't know what I'm gonna call this video because it's not really a 3-up update. I might just call it a channel update. Yeah, I'll go with that. So first of all, on the 3-up, the only thing that has changed since the last update is I put on that new X gantry that the X slider extruder carriage I printed out, and I noticed that when it gets to the ends now, there is still no difficulty getting to the ends, but it still does rattle a bit, so I'm thinking I'm going to have to make it bring the bearings a little bit closer. I might try 0.5 millimeter now, and then if that is still not doing it, I might try a full millimeter closer. And I'm just going to experiment a little bit until I find the right balance between tight enough so that it doesn't rattle and loose enough so that it is able to easily get to the extremes. Now, what is going on right now is I am printing, hopefully, the very, very final print before I get the kits out. These are just the last little pieces that I forgot to include in earlier prints. Really, it's just a stock extruder adapter plate if you want to use the stock extruder with the gantry here, because the extruder has a little lip. Let's get this. It has this little lip down here. That wouldn't sit flush unless it has a little spacer plate, which is actually right here. I'm just printing 3 more of those, actually, because that one I got the dimensions wrong. And additionally, I'm printing little pieces for the X slider here to help tension the belt. A little piece, but very necessary. Now coming over to the kits here, as you can see, they are pretty much all ready to go. I mean, they're not bubble packaged or anything. I got all that bubble wrap over there, so I'm gonna go to town with that stuff, and probably some brown paper packaging too, to fill all the empty space, especially in the 2 bigger boxes. After I do this batch, as long as I continue, I plan on purchasing boxes so that they are all uniform size and they are all the correct size so that there is not too much air in there, so I don't have to waste a ton of bubble wrap to fill up all the empty space. They're also going to be shipped UPS, so that'll be hopefully means that they will be better handled. And internationally, I don't know, I'll check UPS's international prices because USPS's are quite insane for some countries, but I will look into that. Anyway, everything is in here except for the acrylic beds and the final plastic parts I'm printing. The acrylic beds, they are downstairs at the moment. I just got to bring them up, put some finishing touches on them. They're pretty much ready to go. The threaded rods are in here. They're cut down. The ends, I made sure that the ends you can get the threads on, the nuts on, the extrusions are all packaged up, corner blocks, belts, miscellaneous stuff, pulleys, LEDs, the M5 and M3 by 10 millimeter bolts and nuts, and plastic stuff. Oh, and the rest of the plastic is over here. What I'm probably going to end up doing is putting a small box in each larger box just to protect the plastic parts so that they don't go all over the place and break. Additionally, the smaller of the plastic parts are in a bag with the bearing guides, and there's also a bag of all the nut seats. Included is a few extra of the main M3 bolts and nuts, same with the M5 bolts and nuts, a few extra for each. A few extra of these nut seats just in case some are way too tight to use or you break some. And I think that's pretty much it for extras, but you shouldn't really need any. I mean, the extrusions are fine. These brackets aren't going to break. The belt's fine. LED's not necessary. Bearings will all be fine. The pulleys will be fine. Everything else. The only reason I include extra of the M3 and the M5 main nuts and bolts is just in case I accidentally miscounted. I counted like 3 or 4 times, but just in case, I figured it's better to send a few extra now than have to ship out some extras and have you guys wait another few days to get your parts. And here I have these are the parts that I printed today. The X slider A and B, the 2 halves. The third part I'm printing out with this, and the extruder for the guy that ordered it. I forget who. Very good thing that I actually printed this earlier. But my extruder, I must have left the hot end on for way too long. Actually, I did, now that I think about it. And it melted my extruder to the point where the hot end was loose and flopping all around. And I was wondering why my infill looked so squirrely and it just wasn't solid. And that's because this was wiggling all around as it was printing, and it wasn't getting solid layers down. So that was a pretty big problem, but luckily I had a spare extruder body because I had just printed one, and I threw that on and I was able to get printing, and then I printed another one to go out, and after that I'm going to print another one for myself just in case this happens again. And finally, you may have noticed that this video might look a little different than before. It might sound a little different than before. Hopefully it looks smoother, at least, not as shaky. And anyway, the reason for this is because this is my phone. And this is my old phone, actually, and my new phone I'm using right here. I just got my new phone today, the LG G3. I was going to wait for the Xperia Z2, but I read some rumors that it was less likely to come to Verizon, and there has been less evidence about it, and blah blah blah. I didn't feel like waiting and being disappointed. Plus, there's 50% off all smartphones on Verizon until the 27th, so I figured I might as well save $100 and just get the G3, as it's still a solid phone. So yeah, this is what I'm going to be recording with from now on. Hopefully the autofocus is much better, being that it has lasers in it, and the optical image stabilization should help quite a bit with my videos, because I'm sure many of you know I don't exactly have the steadiest of hands, but I'm gonna shut up now. So that's pretty much it. These guys are gonna be going out tomorrow. Pretty exciting. They estimated arrival for, I believe all of them is 2 business days, so if I'm shipping on Saturday, that means they should get there by Tuesday or Wednesday, which isn't bad. I'm going to have to do some calculations as far as the time it will take to do the rest, and the time I will actually be home to print, because I'm not actually sure if I'll be able to do 6 printers before I leave for school, so I may have to cut that down to like 4. I really don't want to, but I will see what I think I'll have time for, and then I'll add on an extra week, just in case the extruder goes all funky like it did for me yesterday. But I did find quite a few people who seem to be very qualified to print parts, so I do believe I should be able to continue making kits while I'm in school. But I'm going to decide that at a little bit of a later date, probably after this next batch is done. The batch of 4 or 6 or whatever it ends up being. So that's pretty much it. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this first of a channel update, I guess, since it's not really a 3-up update. I don't really know, but whatever, doesn't matter. You just watched it. You can't unwatch it. Name the movie down below, or the TV show down below, and I will say you're cool. I'm going to shut up now. Thank you all for watching. I'll catch you later.